Alright, welcome back. Today we're going to do a fairly quick modification. It's going to take maybe a half hour. And it's going to be one that if you suffer from a squeaky clutch, you're going to wish you'd done this years ago. Basically, we're going to be replacing the stock clutch spring with a linear spring. Something like these guys. So the clutch spring, basically it just helps the clutch lift off. When you release the clutch all the way, it just helps it take that extra half inch so it's not setting against anything. Some guys actually just remove this whole piece and have no problems whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and put a spring in just because, and I guess if I don't like the feel, I'll take it back out. But the reason you have a squeaky clutch, and if it is the clutch pedal, not the plunger that goes into the master cylinder, but if it is the clutch, it's because Toyota puts little plastic fittings right here on either end of this where it inserts into a metal piece that we'll look at in a minute, and those get destroyed over time and they start squeaking because now you're getting metal on metal. And you can put some thick grease up there and that'll help for a while, but it's going to happen again. So it's a very popular model. A lot of guys just remove this, put a linear spring in, or don't put any spring back. And again, if you suffer from this clutch problem, the squeak that I have for about a year, when it goes away, you're going to love it. So again, we'll go back under and we'll take a look at it. Now, as far as tools, this is a pretty long screwdriver here. It's really not long enough. I tried for about 10 minutes to get the spring off with this guy and just failed. I went to a pry bar. Well, this is probably an 18-inch pry bar, and that gave me the leverage and the little bend there that I needed to torque this spring from the side and get it to pop out of the metal piece it is in. Now we'll go back under and look at that. Hey guys. Alright, so we're going to get up under the dash, but I want to just show the spring again a little up close. Now this is an end of the spring that's going to go through a metal piece, kind of a metal holder area in the clutch assembly. And it's going to poke through, and right around here is where that plastic grommet that breaks is. Alright, here's the other side, same thing. It's going to poke through a little metal structure, and we'll see the plastic grommet when we get up under there. This is the point, you can see it's a little bit worn right here. This is the point where the clutch and the clutch return spring attach. There's a notch cut into the clutch pedal, and this fits in there. So when you press on the clutch, this is what's actually connecting and then turning the spring and doing all the weight assist and whatnot. So keep that in mind, and then we're just gonna tilt on up here. All right, there's the clutch pedal. All right, and clutch pedal, we're gonna move on up. Okay, there's the plunger that goes into the clutch hydraulics, right? So you know where we are. Move on up. Twist a little bit more. There's our first plastic grommet that I'm talking about that breaks. I'll try to get my feeler up there. There we go. So right here, so that one end of the spring pokes right through here, and this is one of those plastic pieces that breaks, and then pretty soon, or it gets worn out, and we get metal on metal, and that's your clutch squeak right there. All right, and this is the metal support that it's poking through. Okay, and then here's the clutch pedal right here, a little piece of the clutch pedal that has that middle area for the spring to rest in where they connect. Now I'm going to press down on my hand with the clutch pedal, and you see that notch that's in there? That's where that bottom piece goes. And then back the camera out a little bit. There is our other plastic little doohickey that breaks apart. So the spring spans between there and there, connecting to the clutch right there in the middle. We're going to remove that. Now, since I've already removed mine, we can't use that as a reference, but what you're going to find is I take my pry bar, right, and I get it on the inside between the metal here and the spring, and I pry, and then the metal of the spring pops out. Okay, and once you do that, one side's going to be loose, but the spring's not going to fall because you still got to kind of wrangle it out of that center piece right there in the clutch. And when you do that, it's just going to fall out, and that's what you got. And again, everything works fine. Your clutch works just everything fine, but it doesn't necessarily pull tight. Mine pulls within 1/8 of an inch of being tight. Okay. And then what we're going to do once we have it out, if you'll notice right here, there is a spring connect, right? There's a little piece of metal that a spring would wrap around at the spring end. And we're going to attach it up to the top there on another notch. I'll have to get a better angle of that, I guess. And then the linear spring will hold. And I wish I would have taken a video with that spring in, because I had just nothing but squeak the whole way on this clutch. Look at me now pressing this thing in. No squeak. Everything's just fine. It's so quiet. I wish I would have done this ages ago. But anyway. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and mount the spring in right now. The linear spring. And we'll see which one fits, and I'll show you how I do that. And then we'll experiment with it and see how it drives. All right, well, these are one of the two springs I'm going to go ahead and give a test on. They're both about 5 inches long. I may, if I find out this is a little bit too long, have to bend something shorter, or maybe even bend it a little bit longer. But I think 5 inches, from what I read, is what folks use. And I'll also try this one. Notice they both got the small hoop that's going to go around that cotter pin bolt there that's actually on the clutch pedal itself. And then this other end is going to hook on higher up top. Okay. What you're going to care about with your spring is just something that's just not too tiring for you if you're stuck in traffic. You don't want to be pushing necessarily down 40 pounds every time you do it. These are fairly bendable. This one's a little bit stronger. And I'll give you the specs and what other guys have used in the text below this. Again, the spring, I don't know, $2, $3. So a pretty cheap solution to actually have a quiet clutch. So we'll go ahead and swap them in and give it a go. And again, don't worry, if this were, pretend for a minute that you put this on wrong, it was going to spring off while you're driving, or it was going to break, whatever. It's not a problem, because all this return spring is doing is slightly lifting up the clutch to press it against the return. Again, guys drive without clutch springs all the time. It's not wearing their clutch. You know, the pedal comes up enough that the clutch is disconnected, so you don't have to worry about ruining anything. All right, we're going to get this swapped in now. Quit talking. Okay. So after measuring and doing a little experimentation and whatnot, I found that this type of a spring that's got the tall neck is really easier to use, because I have the ability to shorten it and bend it like I did this one. You'll notice now they're a lot closer to the same length. This type of spring, where it's spring the whole way, you can't do much to. You're not going to really cut out spring links and retwist the end and everything. That'd be a little bit difficult probably. This took about a minute to shorten up and bend. Okay, so I'm going to install it, and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, I got the spring in. Feels just the same. It doesn't sound the same because there's no squeak. So let me get up under there and show you what it looks like. All right, here we go again. There's your clutch pedal. We're heading up. And now you see right around where the plunger is attached to the clutch pedal, I got that spring wrapped around right there. It goes on up and just attaches to the top there. Now again, I'm going to use this for about a week and see if I like it, or see if I just want to remove the thing altogether. But as far as the clutch little sensor goes, see there's the sensor, that little white button that gets pushed in. It brings it up all the way. So that's what its job is. And it's absolutely quiet. I'm gonna go drive around the block, and I'll do a quick little write-up at the end and just let you guys know what I think of it after about a week. And if you have any questions, let me know. It was a short mod, but a couple things took a little longer. This was the spring I was going to use. I ended up using the other spring because this guy was just, it's too thick a metal, it's too tight of a spring, and it was actually louder than the squeak. Yeah, get it here in the lens. It was actually louder than the squeak, but that's mainly because it was just too beefy, and it was stretching too much, so it did that, you know, that whatever stretch, metal stretch sound. That probably wasn't a great sound. Anyway, I'll try to keep it in the lens here. Yeah, so I went with the other spring, and I'll include that down below too. And some of the springs that the other guys used that didn't even require modification at all. All right, thanks for watching.